with the passage of that act, there is capacity now to clean up the banking sector. What would have been the way forward for you?
You see, I'm very happy that he made it quite clear that it's not his area.
No.
Okay.
Oh, but you knew that sitting down.
And so I have been smiling all along because the things I'm hearing from him is like, you know, going to battle with somebody and then you realize that you are a lightweight. You know, you find things, you know, just to malign the person, that kind of stuff. But I'm happy that there's a lot of people out there who are listening to me. In fact, the financial sector players who are listening to me out there, when you have time, talk to them and they'll confirm the things I'm saying. So
we are going to talk to some of them.
Yeah, very important.
But you notice that.
If I can make my point.
No. Why? No.
He won't
Come on. Now we're going back and forth.
That's the strategy.
When it was your time to speak,
I'm not speaking.
When it was my turn to speak, now we can banter.
Who is supposed to be speaking now?
Now we can banter. Listen,
the man wants the time to run, that's all.
No. It's important that we get clarity.
I'm on the floor.
My concern was that he's politicized it.
This particular point.
That was my concern. It's not. I didn't say that he lied to us. Did I say that? No, I said that you've politicized it. That one, I'm telling you, when those experts come, they'll tell you that was wrong.
Okay, let me.
Right, you have the floor.
It is the executive that drafts law bills and takes them to Parliament. Even though we have private members' bill on our books, it's almost impossible to do it because once it has cost implication on the state, you will need the executive to concur. So when you say NDC or MPP, you are talking about which executive sponsored the bill. Okay, and that is the extent to which I mentioned NDC.
And not the partisan.
Of course. It is a political party in power that sponsors a bill, that does all the work that is required to make sure that Parliament is able to put together a legislation. When you put in a legislation, the implementation of the legislation itself would have different strategies. There is not one strategy for implementing a law. So in the end, if at our time, in dealing with this matter, you know that we said we wanted to do recapitalization to a tune of 230 million. It wasn't 400 million. So if you are looking at who jettisoned what, why is it that they didn't proceed with the 230 million?
They didn't like your
So let me finish. You are saying that you are saying they knew, and this is what they knew. And you know why? We said that 230 million because not all the banks require the same level of capital. And so in addition to the floor of 230 million for every bank, we're going to introduce what we call the Internal Capital Adequacy Assessment Program, ICAP. What ICAP will now do is to take individual banks and their balance sheets and look at the level of capital that is appropriate to the level of risk you are carrying on your balance sheet and ask and work with you to build that capital base. So it is more about hand-holding individual banks. And so you wouldn't have seen all this hula baloo, all this agitation in the banking sector. And so the strategy is not the same as once you have a law. The law doesn't prescribe the strategy and your implementation procedures. So you need to now look back and say, how do I implement this law in a way that provides the environment for the sector not to be disturbed?
How were you going to implement
I have indicated to you that we're going to do a minimum capital of 230 million.
Instead of the 400
Instead of the 400 million. We're giving banks up to 2019, not 2018.
So a year.
3 years. 2017 to 23 years to recapitalize. Third, we are now going to deal with each individual bank based on the level of risk on your balance sheet and the level of capital that is properly adequate for you to operate, in order that banks are segregated and dealt with based on the strength of their balance sheet. So that was our strategy. Your strategy is that it's a all fit all.
Did you proffer the strategy to them?
At all.
To who?
Did you tell them about this strategy?
They have these documents there.
Oh.
Let me tell you, Bank of Ghana is not a political institution. It is an institution with an institutional memory. But the new person sit up and say, look, that is not the strategy I want to implement.
I want to shorten the time.
I want to shorten the time. Apart from wanting to shorten the time, I want to be antagonistic. I want to be fighting shareholders. I want to be talking down on the industry that I'm regulating. I want to be creating more panic. anytime I have an opportunity, I create the impression that all is not well. I am not the one who was saying it. The governor, on any occasion that he had the opportunity, talked down on the financial sector and created more panic and fears. The panic withdrawals were not caused by Isaac Adongo. Were they caused by me? They were not.
They are.
They were not. Yeah. They were caused by the conduct and utterances of. And you see, when you say having perfect solution, I've given you a solution. I have said when you took UT Capital Bank, you needed to know that other financial sector players will be impacted. So you can't just give GCB a bond for 10 years without cash and compel these people who are members of the value chain to roll over for 3 years when they don't have the money to pay the people who will be coming for years. What solution do you want? And I'm saying that the issue about assessment, you don't do assessment when you have taken the decision. You do the assessment in order to come to a decision and to come to a strategy. But you don't act, and when you now act and people are complaining, the next day you write letters to them and say, can we know your interconnected indebtedness? I mean, how? You should have known that. So what is the basis for arriving at 900 million if you are now going to find out? So the 900 million, if now you would, let me tell you, the receiver appeared at a microfinance company. Funny, in Tema. You know what happened? He appeared and said that you are one of those that I'm supposed to receive. Can I have your deposits? The guy said, I don't do deposits. I have not taken 1 penny from anybody. I don't have deposits. He says, so how do you fund it? I say, everything is funded by shareholders. And we have almost 2 million of shareholders funding for all the credit that we have given, I mean, for all the people that we have given loans to. And the records were there at the Bank of Ghana. So anytime this person filed, they expect to see deposits. Once he is filing and they are not seeing deposit, they say it is dormant. Now you went there and there was more activity than Bank of Ghana. At the end of the day, so they asked the guy, so what are you here to receive? You are here to help me collect my credits, because when you go and collect the monies for me, they are for shareholders because there are no idea obligation. So are you now appointing a receiver to the owner of the business to chase after people it has lent to in order that it recovers its money? Has it complained to you that it is unable to recover its money? That is the level of incompetence. And these are facts. You see, I can't imagine anybody who say this politicization.
He thinks the word incompetence is...
No, but
he's not comfortable. But did you
hear the new words he started using? You notice that he added new words to it, that he looks down on people and all that. What's the point of that?
Will you jump at a
What's the
firm
benefit
to go
of
and
that?
receive a firm that doesn't have deposits? And your records, the person has been filing every month. So you know that this person's, you should understand his business model.
My issue is, it is the Bank of Ghana taking these actions. Is
And I'm saying that
the person of the governor or
it's amazing.
But who leads this? Who leads it?
So Ernest Edu Addison is incompetent.
Is it the first time you have heard me say so?
No,
Listen,
but you see,
I have said this time and again. What he was doing with the banking sector reform, I predicted them long ago. If you have been following me, you would have known that I predicted this situation long ago.
You didn't predict it.
Long ago.
Do you remember?
He refused
To listen
He
to
didn't predict it.
In fact, in some instances, he tries to act. You remember when he took Unibank, I indicated a process that would have allowed the state not to pump so much money into taking that bank. Okay? One of them was that we needed to set up an equity-funded project which will provide leverage to these financial institutions. In the end, they came and did it, GATT, and you saw the way they did GATT. They came and did it in some hudious manner. So they will never listen and act based on what you tell them. But you see, my brother,
so let me
today he's in a difficult situation.